He's not denying that he killed a goddess, but she's choosing to believe he did it for a good reason. Jesus Christ, dude's so crazy as a terrorist, he's convinced himself he's king and everyone else is his fucking subjects that betrayed him. Look at how much detail went into every nook and cranny here. The rusty kind of old sign, the pile of wood with a slight amount of snow showing a light dusting that just happened, even more so on these beautiful bushes. Someone laid their pickaxe down after a hard day of work. Come on, it's just, there's just too much here. Too much greatness that I'm witnessing. Yeah, that's our attack dog. Let's just send him into the thick of it from here on out. Yo, you know what this guy kind of looks like? Anyone who's ever seen Ben 10, remember when Kevin becomes like a mutilated version of all of Ben's aliens? It's kind of what he's looking like right now. I fucking hate that guy. I hope we tie this son of a bitch to 4 different horses in 4 different directions. Slap that ass and watch him rip. If that's too much for you, door's right there. I don't give a rat's furry ass. Would this place really be worse off if we took the Full Metal Alchemist King and put him on an actual throne? I honestly think, while sure there would still be a lot of deaths, there probably would be less. And that's hilarious to me. This show is goddamn quality, and it was worth the extra wait for the 2nd episode. If you got this far on the video, though, make sure you drop a like, share, support, subscribe, ring that bell, stay up to date on everything we upload on the channel. And if you want to go the extra mile, Patreon's where you can catch my full live reactions to all these episodes and more. Also goes a long way to help fund the channel and videos just like these. So, this is the first time in a long time I can recall a first episode airing on a day, that being Saturday a couple weeks ago, but the rest of the show airing on a completely different day of the week, that being Thursdays. I know it's happened before on shows I've watched, but it's been a bit before I've seen that, so it's quite interesting. But this show is going to get a lot of hype because of, well, of course, the director of said show worked on Mushoku Tensei. Now, some people be telling me it's the bread animator. Remember that scene where the bread ripped and you're just like, why did they animate it so well? Not sure if that's true, but I'd believe it. And, I mean, just look at freeze frames like these, man. You're going up against some corrupted centipedes and just bros aura farming from a back shot. Like, goddamn. But there's something about just the general look of everything in this world that I think truly is why I think this show is on Mushoku Tensei's level with its visual production. And honestly, based on what I'm seeing from the writing, I think it equally could be on that level there too. But it's too early to tell for sure on that, but they've done quite a good job with essentially 4 episodes in the span of 2. Because if we remember, episode 1 was an hour long, that's 3 episodes of traditional anime content. By all accounts, we've seen like a third of an anime season by the traditional sense. But this show is just something truly special. What's great about, I think, the first episode is we came out of it thinking, okay, here's this really cool dark fantasy show, a lot of action, a lot of grit. Main character got screwed over by a church. Here's a fun plot line that we can get behind. We've seen similar things. It's well produced. Anime of the season, let's go. Unga boonga. That's fantastic. Episode 2 says, listen, we're actually going to show you how the characters are going to look, and we're going to show you some of the more subtle, nuanced details that maybe we didn't really have time to show in the first episode. 1, because you're fresh to it, but 2, we're trying to get your attention. And seeing the wide assortment of characters, and most importantly, why their hatred towards the system isn't just simply blinded by, you screwed my life over, so I want revenge. It's, you are actually horrible people, and you care about no one but yourself. So let me do the dirty work as I probably get killed because no one else cares about the common soldier. Like, just look at what we're looking at here. Some of the most mutilated, disgusting imagery. And this is what happens when the corruption touches a human, right? And as far as they've established, and I mean, looking at this, I doubt there's a way to purify this unless the goddess has some sort of purifying magic that can reverse it. She seems very conflicted about what's happening with cutting down humans. Am I going to be surprised if she finds a way to reverse this? No. But as it stands, cutting them down, you know, it's a kill or be killed world. And I mean, I just love seeing just simple shots like these too, where the soldiers are like deeply affected by what they're seeing, whether it's the smell causing them to vomit, the visuals. You get a sense of real humanity here before some of the worst dialogue possible gets thrown in, you know, characters' faces like Xylo. This might be one of the most insufferable characters we've seen over the 2 episodes, which, hey, you know, we haven't known these characters long, but we've seen quite a few characters, so props to this guy being a royal douchebag. He basically says, listen, don't worry about it, because this girl is interesting. She's doing her job, but you can tell there's a way to get through to her where she abandons said job, or will become a hero herself because of crimes, who knows which. But she's trying to say, like, what is the survivability if we go down a narrow hallway to rescue civilians? And basically gets told, good luck. I mean, protecting civilians, going down a narrow hallway, fighting off these corruptions, like, yeah, most are gonna die. And I'm not saying this man is necessarily wrong, because it's a dick move, but objectively protecting your soldiers, cutting your losses so that other people can be saved is an argument to be made. But it's the smug fucking grin of this guy, and how as soon as Xylo says, fuck all you, we'll do it ourselves, if we don't come out, bury us alive, blah, blah, blah. And you know what this sick son of a bitch does? He gets some of the sloppiest little grins, because he's like, huh, we're gonna solve the issue. You know, it's like, I fucking hate it. But that's how this church has huffed their own farts for so fucking long that they truly think they are better. They actually look at the heroes as less than human, that they are tools to be used and discarded. When there's a situation that has a slim chance of saving civilians, we send in the dogs who can be beaten and bruised, because if we lose them, who gives a shit? Most likely, this son of a bitch is going to close the gate within 20 minutes of us leaving. Well, okay, they've been in there long enough, seal them off. Fucking hate them. That's the emotion that really gets to you, right? But like I said, the personalities of the characters are starting to shine more, because while there is that intensity that we just discussed, we also are getting to see other heroes. And you have a guy like this who could have been pulled straight out of a Full Metal Alchemist story, if you ask me. Bro's so crazy, he thinks he's the king, and everyone else is his servants. And I'm just like, this is the best character. Like, he is the most fun, and just watching him walk up and blast their food as Xylo's like, yeah, boss, I'm not going to tell the king he can't use his flames. I'm just going to tell the king maybe use smaller flames. Because as we know, every time these characters come back from the dead, they lose a bit of themselves. And as far as I can tell, someone dying once and being resurrected could be enough to send them into a frenzy, right? But then you also have the kind of attack dog, like, bro, you put bro in a gimp suit, we got a completely different anime on our hands. But this dude's a psycho. He's just pure, he just attacks. He's just a wild animal. And to see the number of different personalities and how our boy's pretty cool, calm, and collected, right? Like, he seems like he still has his head on his shoulders. So there is a moment, it's in the opening, where you can see him basically getting strangled. I honestly assume it's himself. And I think this is foreshadowing to him losing his mind and fighting off potentially the corruption completely taking over him. That's what I think anyway. But either way, this show has been on a roll so far. Like I said, sure, only 2 episodes at face value, but when you look at the runtime, we've essentially been here for an hour and a half. That is 4 anime episodes all in all. This show is on a roll. I think there's still strong arguments to be made. This could be anime of the season. There's a few shows that are of that insanely high quality. I think playing death games to put food on the table is seriously also on that level. And they're different types of shows, so it'll be interesting to see how they all develop. But the production, first time since Mushoku Tensei that I can honestly say a show looks like Mushoku Tensei in terms of that attention to detail. And given what I'm seeing with the writing, I think the attention to detail is going to be on the writing side too. It's great to see people involved in that production making other things, because goddamn, not many shows look like Mushoku Tensei, and more shows should. Let me know your thoughts down below though. Drop a like, share, support, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell, all that fun jazz. And hey, if you want to go the extra mile, we do got the Patreon where you can catch my full live reactions, all some more. Like, hey, I'd love to give video shouts to my patrons, because without them, you won't get these YouTube videos. So today we got SK411, Tyler Countess, /, and we also have John Matrix. So I appreciate the support. Please take care. Y'all have a good one.